I can't stand what he's doing, Lyndon. That horrible politician, making false and irresponsible allegations, sucking up the attention. He's obviously not in control of his faculties. Everyone's taking him seriously, but he's nothing but a dotty demagogue with terrible hair. You know who I'm talking about, right? Senator Joe McCarthy.
I hold in my hand a list of 200 active open communists who are working at the State Department. I have sent a telegram to the Secretary of State to insist that he discharge such communists, but that telegram lies unanswered.
Cheap stuff.
People ask, why don't I release my list of 300 communists? Well, I can't do so without risk to my sources. But as a professional courtesy, I will show my list of 400 communists to any fellow senator who wants to see it. Sit down, you fat little man.
You're in the Senate leadership, Lyndon. Do something.
Look, I've drank with McCarthy. He just likes to fib just to see what he can get away with. He's an attention hound, and this is his moment of fame. It'll burn itself out soon enough.
These armchair elitists who went to their fancy schools can't even add 2 and 2. They're mental and moral midgets who don't understand the communist menace. I hope President Truman will approve my proposal to create a communist registry so that we can track communists, homosexuals, and people with foreign names.
It's been months now, Lyndon. It's time for us to take a stand against McCarthy.
Yes, it is. But the public's on his side now. Look, I admit this has gone on longer than I expected. What can I say? He's tapped into something the country is feeling.
I worry that Senator McCarthy's behavior will have a chilling effect on academic freedom, and that innocents will be caught in this well-intentioned...
But he keeps body slamming people and ripping out their entrails.
You're privileged from arrest on the Senate floor. You know that. It's in the Constitution. I'm not saying I like this, but he won't be around much longer. His liver won't anyway.
More good news. Tens of thousands of super patriots around the country, inspired by my example, have harassed at least 40,000 suspected Reds at their schools and places of employment until they were fired, beaten up, or compelled to commit suicide. We've got to do more. Here's a Hollywood screenwriter.
Ugh, salad bar was shitty today.
Good news. You know how I've been telling you for years that we'd hit McCarthy when the time was right? Well, he got into a fight with a senior senator's chief assistant. You don't cross a senior senator. This is the beginning of the end for Joe McCarthy.
He just killed somebody a minute ago, right there.
Oh. Well, if it isn't Tail Gunner Joe.
Ah, Lyndon, there's something on your shirt. Oh!
Joe! Uncle!
I'm just kidding. I'll be at the bar if you want to tie some on.
You're just a good old boy, aren't you? I hate that guy. I'm lying to him, not you.
For 4 years, I've hated a lot of people in groups because there's too many communists in them. Now I'm going to hate the biggest group yet, the Army. Here I go.
President Eisenhower. Hello. You know who I'm calling about. Look, communists, homosexuals, people with foreign names, fellow senators and writers are one thing, but how long are you going to let him slander the Army? What we've got to do is put him on TV. 6 hours a day, every day, on all 3 TV channels, so the public can see what a fool he really is. I just hope I can convince him to do it without him realizing what I'm up to. Hey, Joe, you want to put your hearings on TV?
You bet I do. Edward R. Murrow thinks I'm a disgrace. He's a disgrace. And people will watch it and say, "You fool, Edward R. Murrow." And then they'll kill him. They'll kill for the same reason I do.
Well, that just sounds mighty fine.
I'm gonna eat you, Lyndon.
In today's hearings, the McCarthy Committee will consider the Army's response to allegations that it is full of communists, presented by Army Counsel Joseph Welch.
For 4 years you have claimed you have the names of communists. Present them now. Show us your list in full before the sun goes down.
I think we've heard a great deal of your phony outrage, but you should know there's a young man in your employ named Fred Fisher, who once belonged to the Communist Party of America.
You're certainly the expert here on phony outrage.
I took steps to ensure that a boy like that will never work again for this committee, or any other committee.
Fred. Let me say that until this moment, Senator, I think I never really gauged your cruelty or your recklessness.
Let me say, Mr. Welch, that I expect you to die.
Have you no sense of decency, sir? At long last, have you no sense of decency? If there is a God in heaven, it will do neither you nor your cause any good.
That's it. That's it. Hubert, it's time. Go.
Finally, friends, I rise in opposition to this cruelty from the senator from Wisconsin.
I am shocked at how far this has gone. Harassment of our professors is unacceptable. And the cost of stitching my entrails back in was really expensive.
The people of my home state of Texas hate communists, but they cherish their freedom. While hating communists, they love living in a land where freedom of dissent is protected. Communists, they hate them.
Allow me to read a declaration of conscience.
Did you hear what President Eisenhower said? He said, "Looks like it's no longer McCarthyism, it's McCarthy-wasm." Reader's Digest worthy, that is.
Friends, I think that this debate on whether I'm terrible has gone on for too long, and I suspect that the communists are prolonging this debate as a way to distract mental and moral midgets from looking at the real threats to this country. And
On the question of whether to condemn Joe McCarthy, 67 senators have voted aye, and 22 senators have voted no. Therefore, Senator McCarthy stands condemned for actions unbecoming of a senator and besmirching the good name of the Senate of the United States.
snakes, snakes.
Well, I guess it was his time. It's sad in a way, isn't it?
Don't waste any tears over old Joe. He got everything he wanted and he blew it. God knows what would have happened in the country if we hadn't stopped him.
Did we really stop him? It seemed like we spent all our time trying not to stop him.
We gave him enough rope to hang himself. That's the way you handle demagogues. We are not the first center of civilization to have demagogues, Hubert, and we won't be the last.
I guess. I just keep thinking of all his victims. And heck, what happens if someday we wind up with a president who operates like this?
If someone like that ever tried to be president, there'd be plenty of opportunities to expose him for what he is. Eventually, the public will always say, enough. Sure, it may take a while, but once they see him do things like make a fool of the legislative process or bring in totalitarian crazies, they'll turn him right off. Or if he pays hush money to a porn star, or disrespects George Floyd, or undermines the experts during a global pandemic, and now we've had the most deaths, that would definitely get him defeated in the next election. Probably. Hey, enough about this. We saved democracy. Let's go to my office and get loaded.
Sounds like a great night. Ow! Oh, hey, one of Joe's victims is still here.
What? I told the janitorial staff to really scrub. Those lazy bums. Ugh.
Poor fella. I suppose we'll never even know all their names.
America, 1860. The Civil War is on the verge of tearing the nation apart.
You mean the war of Yankee aggression?
No, I do not. And shut the fuck up. I'm the narrator of this play.
Why? 'Cause you're a northerner? The rolling hills of the Southland make the smokestacks and saloons of New England look like filth.
At least every northerner knows that his home was built by free labor.
Citizens! This is not how Americans behave. There's only one person who can prevent the outbreak of this civil war. The President of the United States.
I can't wait to hear the wisdom of one of America's sagacious 1850s presidents. Now, who's president again?
Oh, isn't it, Zachary Taylor?
No, Taylor died, and then it was Millard Fillmore, and then it was Mildred Pierce, and now I think it's Stephen Douglas.
Stephen Douglas? No, friends, it's James Buchanan.
Oh, yeah. James Buchanan.
Stephen Douglas. That amoral, scheming old rival of mine will never become president. Say what you will about me, but at least I have consistent principles that I believe in.
What are your orders, sir?
Yes, I'm thinking of seceding, but I don't know.
You must not secede. The crisis has reached a point we can no longer tolerate. For 75 years, this union has stood half slave, half free. I believe this will not last. I believe it's in the best interest of the United States that we make a dramatic change. I believe that slavery must be allowed in every single state.
What?
Thank you. I've been saying this for years.
No! The North has spent decades banning slavery in our states, rooting it out of our land piece by piece. Now you're going to just overturn all our work?
You can still have slavery bans in the North. They won't mean anything, but you can have them. Northerners always overreact. I can say that because I'm from Pennsylvania. I better talk to her. How's it going, champ?
Slavery needs to go.
Okay, but what's your plan to get rid of it? You talk a good game, and all those people like Stephen Douglas and John Fremont and Abraham Lincoln talk a good game. But what's your plan? Because I'm a practical person, so I need to hear the plan.
We should do it like in the British Empire.
Where the government...
You don't have a plan. That's the whole problem with the abolitionists. No plan. If you had a plan, more of us would listen to you.
Quit talking like this is some fever dream. If we were still part of Britain, slavery would have ended here 15 years ago. Does that seem right to you?
I can't do anything. Everyone knows the plantation owners run politics in the United States. They've got the culture, the history, and everyone knows the best politicians come from the South. Look, I guess we disagree on this, but I want you to know that I'm not heartless. I work against the system in my own way. For instance, I admit I bought many slaves in my life, but you know what I do with them? I free them.
You do?
Yes. On condition that they work for me as indentured servants for 5 or 8 or 20 years. A lot of them die, honestly, before they can taste real freedom. It's kind of sad. But as you can see, I'm a bit of a abolitionist myself.
Abolitionist!
Hey! You know I love your peculiar institution, baby. I didn't mean it. You know I'm your DOUGHFACE.
You're still my dough face!
I'm your dough face. But I have to talk to the North a little. You get it, right? Now, let's not act rashly.
You know I promised to.
You've been talking about seceding since literally the start of the Republic. I am tired of it. Either shit or get off the pot.
Excuse me.
Receiving the votes of a unified North, the next president of the United States will be Abraham Lincoln!
Abraham? But...
President Buchanan, thank you for your service. You have 4 months to end your presidency, sir. Any hope of a legacy you have had better come now.
Abraham Lincoln? I've been pronouncing it Abraham Lincoln for years. I'm so embarrassed. In conclusion, may I again congratulate you on your election. If you are as happy in entering the White House as I shall feel on returning to Wheatland, you are a happy man indeed. Signed, James Buchanan, President. Post this to President-elect Lincoln.
I will, sir.
I'm gonna miss this old White House. Brings back so many memories. Dred Scott, Bleeding Kansas, and look there. That's the spot where I was told that though I was the most corrupt president in the history of the Republic, it did not rise to the level of an impeachable offense. What a special place. What's that?
I think it's starting. It's South Carolina. They've seceded.
Boy, when it rains, it pours.
They've surrounded the base at Fort Sumter. Oh, here comes some more.
Well, this is terrible. I mean, of course, now that they've actually seceded, they're in the wrong. They can't secede. No, it's illegal to secede. I will not tolerate this insult to the United States.
What are your orders, sir?
By the power vested in me as president, I direct you to resupply Fort Sumter and subdue the rebels by any means you may require.
Yes, sir.
Wait. I've got a better idea. By power vested in me as president, I direct you not to do any of those things I just said. It's too controversial. The crisis will sort itself out.
Really?
Yes, it is regretful. So regretful. But my hands are tied.
I mean, Article 2 of the Constitution gives you the power to make sure the laws are faithfully executed.
That's right. No power at all. And my hands? Tied. Who could have foreseen the scenario?
You're leaving President-elect Lincoln a real shitburger here, sir. You realize that, right?
Yeah. Poor fuck. I hope he makes it. I've heard rumors that he's going to be assassinated before he even gets to Washington. And not later at Ford's Theater 4 years from now.
What?
I don't know what I'm saying. My tied hands are cutting off the circulation to my brain.
All right. So to sum up, we have what looks like at least 5 states seceding, and our response is nothing.
No, not nothing. You're forgetting about my plan to ban the banning of slavery. I just hope it's not too late.
6 and 7 and... Oh! This one is a telegram from Lincoln.
Let me see it.
It's not addressed to you. It's addressed to me.
Oh, he's being president out of turn, is he? Let me see it. Dear civil servant, please be prepared upon my inauguration to take action to either hold or retake Fort Sumter as the situation requires.
Oh, he burned you! He absolutely burned you!
I don't care for Abrams' tone. He sounds just like Stephen Douglas, another scheming Illinois politician. At least Douglas will never be president. I did manage to beat him. Oh well. Whatever the result may be, I shall carry to my grave the consciousness that I, at least, meant well for my country. Another morning at Shea Buchanan. Let's see what's in the mail today. Looks like it's 5 death threats. And, someone sent me one of those effigies of me that you see around town. Well, this is in poor taste. But, good news. The Senate voted against condemning me for cowardice. Things are looking up.
My brother died in your war, you traitor!
I'm not a traitor. It's not my war. I didn't do anything. I did literally nothing. If you do nothing, nothing can possibly be your fault. People don't understand. People act like a president can just free slaves with the stroke of a pen. The evening edition. Lincoln does this just to humiliate me. You know who he reminds me of? Stephen Douglas.